Okay, so we're going to start reboring some barrels today. I've got 3 of them built up here that we took in, all from the same customer actually. I can always open up your chokes, I just can't add to it. The only way you can add to a choke is, there's ways. They swedge them, they put screw-in chokes in. There's different ways you can, but I rebore and open chokes. That's kind of what we do. I'll show you my machine in the back in a little bit. I kind of copied the one that was in the Browning gun shop. It was a Sun & Hone that we converted and works really well. We'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to mic these bores. My instruction sheet was right here from my customer. He wants, I have 2 20 gauge and 1 16, and he's given me the dimensions that he wants. This is our bore gauge. Expensive little item, but works really, really well. There's some different type of gauges out there that you see, the cone-shaped gauges they slide down in, and some guys drop dimes in their full choke. Get away from all. This is the way to go. This right here is very, very accurate, and will tell you exactly what your bore is. Okay, let's see what we have. We have some 20 gauge here. He wants one bored to a light mod, and that was this one here according to my note. It's a full choke now. He wants this board to light mod. Light mod would be modifies like 20 and ICs around 10 thousandths. So I'm assuming he wants it like 15, which we can give him. See what we have to start with our gauge. I'll get around here where you can see it. All right, as I put my gauge in, I'm going to pull it out, and I have 10, 20, 25. 10, 20, 25, which is pretty much a full, kind of an open full, but that's what it is. Let's see, I have another 20 here. He wants this one bored to a IC. Okay, see what we have. All right, we have okay, we have 10, 12, but it's kind of jumping around and it feels rough in there. This, I believe, has been reamed. I get a lot of them in where the guys run reamers in there and they leave all the reamer marks. Oh, it's a mess. So this one's actually been bored out some. It's like 12 thousandths, and it's just rough. I can feel it sliding on it. And as I look down the bore, yeah, lots of machine marks. They're not machine marks, they're reamer marks. You won't be able to see them there, but someone's been messing with that a little bit, and we're going to try to hone those marks out of there. We have a 16 gauge barrel that the man wants bored to a modified. Now I've got to change spuds here on my mic for the 16, and let's see what we have there. He wants the 16. He wants a mod, a light mod. He says. Let's see what we have. The barrel says it's a full. It has 1 asterisk there that tells me it's a full. So let's see what we have. Okay, we're on 0 there. Okay, here we go. We have 10, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's 38, about 37. That's a real tight full choke. 10, 20, 30, about 37 thousandths in there. And we're going to take that out to a light mod, he says, which will be about 15. So we've got quite a bit of meat to take out of there. So we know where we are. Let's go back and start with the 16. Get my instructions here. I'll take my gauge with me, and we'll set up the hone machine and show you how that works. Okay, all right. We're back at our reboring machine. This is an old Sun & Hone machine, converted to do my rebores on barrels. And yes, I did copy the one at the Browning shop. It was the same thing, just an old Sun Hone unit. I don't know what they do down at Browning. They probably still have it. I don't know. They might have changed out. I don't know. But this machine works really well. Really does a good job. I had to make this extension. It goes out here, and this is a spud that goes in the barrel that aligns it with the hone stones perfectly. And through this line here comes oil that you will see that pumps out and flushes the chips out as it hones. Wonderful, wonderful machine. Took quite a while to get it set up and get it just really dialed in the way I wanted, but it works really, really well. So I have made these spuds, and they fit an A5. I had to cut a flat on the shaft to make room for the ejector. This is a 20 mag, and so that slides into the chamber, and they're kind of snug fitting, which is the way I want them. I don't want them to fall out, and it's now ready to lay into the cutout we have made for it. And see, it lines it up with the hone stone. Truly, perfectly alignment. So now, the way this works, there's a stone here that you won't be able to see because the machine's rotated around. Let's see if I can bring it around and show you. All right, here's the stone. This is a cutting stone. These are old stones I've used and worn out. These stones slide in simply into this slot. It pushes back with a little tension, and inside of the mandrel is this little bar that comes out, and as you crank on this dial here, you won't be able to see it in the video, but this stone is coming out now. I can feel it coming out. Crank it back and it goes back in. So as we bore, the stone will break down. These have all been used up. They're kind of expensive to buy, but they do the job. They do a really smooth job. You won't have it gets rid of reamer marks. It does a really professional job. So we got a new stone in. We have our spud in the end of our barrel, and let's put it on the mandrel and fire the machine up. When I do, you'll see oil start coming out of the at the muzzle end of the barrel, and it goes kind of like this. There's your oil. So then we step on a treadle on the bottom here. The mandrel begins to spin, and then we crank the stone out into the barrel. And when it breaks down, the stone breaks down and it removes metal. You give it a little crank once in a while, and that brings the stone out just a little more, and it bores. Does a really, really nice, smooth job. Really professional. And of course, when we're all done, we're going to re-stamp your barrel with the appropriate asterisks to tell what the choke is. So as we bore, we'll hone a little bit, and then we will bring out the barrel, kind of drain, let the oil drain a little bit. We will get our spud here. I hope I've changed it. I haven't. Let's see. That's a 20. Yeah, I've got to change my 20 here. Get the 16 off. I started with the 20s because I already had the 20 gauge mandrel set up in the machine, so that's where I started. And this particular barrel, this one was the one that was modified, and the man wants, and I give you right down to the thousandths of an inch. This one was the mod. No, this one was the mod. Yeah, it was a mod. He wants IC. So let's see what we have here. So we put our little bore gauge in, and we check it. We have now 10, 12. We have 12 thousandths, which is about pretty close to an IC. But I'm going to take it out to about 10 or 9 or whatever it takes to get those rough machine marks out that were very unprofessionally put in there by a reamer. I see that all the time. So And after a while, you kind of get the feel, you know about how much you're taking out by the amount of time you spend on it. And you have to know what your stones are. I have kind of medium grit stones. I have some stones that are kind of coarse that I have to do a little final honing on. They remove quite a bit of meat in a hurry. This is kind of a medium stone. And I'm going to take about what I think is going to be a couple thousandths out of here. Then I'm going to clean that barrel out and check it to see if I removed all the machine marks. And I think I'm probably going to take, it was pretty rough. I'm going to take it out to maybe about 9 thousandths or so. And that should clean them up, and that'll give you a nice IC bore choke. Now, I would say I have taken out about 2 thousandths. And we'll verify that again with our bore gauge. Alright, we're right now at about 9 thousandths. That's a good IC. And I imagine it's probably cleaned up those reamer marks. We won't know till we kind of get the oil out of it and run a swab through it and check it. And that'll tell us what we've got. So we're going to do that. Now, honing oil, it's expensive to buy, and it's really stays and sticks up in the barrel. So oftentimes you'll see me, I'll have barrels kind of leaning back here like overnight. That's to get that hone oil to drain out there as much as I can. But for purposes today, I'm going to go ahead and run a swab through it. I don't normally do this, but I'm doing it for video purposes today because I really want to see what we've got in this barrel. See if we got those reamer marks out. Now I wish I could show you this in the video, but I believe we pretty much got them. It looks really smooth and good, and I think that's going to be fine. That cleared up all that chatter and reamer mark stuff in there, so that barrel is good. I can't really tell. I need to swap it out a little more with because I can't tell. It may still have some reamer marks in there. I can't see it. Let me take this over on my bench where I got a clean swab and swab it out so I can look at it. Alright, so we got our rebore done. We got some nice new honed stones on and honed them out. And then I put some finer stones on and did a final polish on them. They're nice and smooth and shiny now. There's no reamer marks in them. So they all look factory. And no one will know they've been rebored. And to further that, make it even better, we're going to re-stamp them so they just look factory. Now the Browning, I like to put them in a vise. It makes it a little easier for me to hold them. The Browning factory markings are all done with an asterisk, and the IC has a little dash behind it. This particular barrel here, we bored out to a light modified, and it was started as a full, so it has one asterisk there. And so right next to it, we're going to put another one. I don't stamp them too deep because I want to try to make that look kind of factory as much as I can. So that is now a modified, light modified barrel. And we had one here that we did. Here's another light modified. And this is another full choke barrel, one which means it has one asterisk. So we're going to stamp next to it another asterisk right there. Okay. So that barrel is now marked modified, 2 asterisks. Now we had one here that we had to take out the IC because it had been reamed with a reamer, and we had to take a little more meat out of it to clean it up. It's been, I can't do much about it. Someone has re-stamped it somehow or other with some kind of an asterisk stamp, and they have 2 stamps on there. It means it's modified. It's now IC, and I'm just going to leave that one unprofessional looking stamp on there because I can't do much about it. But I need to put a dash in there. Now the dash here is on the wrong side actually, if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, because it should be 2 stars and then a dash, but as you see, I don't have room to put the dash behind it, so perfectly acceptable to put it behind. So now we have 2 asterisks and a dash, which means it's IC, which this bored out to right about 9 thousandths, which is pretty much an IC, and we got those ugly reamer marks out. So those barrels are rebored, ready to go. No one will know they've ever been rebored, and they look perfectly factory, and it's minor stuff to do that. I do lots of them, and that machine just makes it so much easier and does such a professional job, and that's the way it goes today.